Welcome to the grades. Well, today we're breaking down Tom BILYEU. I call him the father of progressive suffering.
I had suffered a lot. I hadn't taken a day off in like 6.5 years, except for Christmas, in fairness.
Now, if you want to be like him, if you want to adapt his strategies, if you want to see things the way he does, you'll have to understand who is this guy and where he's coming from. If you want to inherit some of the attractive traits that he's having or he's possessing, whether in public or in private, you might just like this video. Now, let me first give you the history of this man. Tom was born in Tacoma. Now, those who've been in Tacoma before, you will know that Tacoma is such a very artistic city. You know, it's full of life. Like, you can see the creativity around. Yeah, that's where Tom was born. He was born in Washington, United States. So he's basically an American. He was born in the year 1976. You know, in 1976, when there was a struggle in South Africa, the struggle of young people fighting against Africans and all that stuff. That year, the same year, Tom was born, but he was born on the 30th of March. Yeah, on the 30th of March. You can just do your research. I'm just thinking around that. So he was born around those times. Now, this man had a very simple dreams. He wanted to be rich and to have a six-pack. Like, that was his obsession. He wanted to have a six-pack and to be rich.
I wouldn't let my wife go on a vacation because I was so hell-bent to get rich.
Now, I've read books like The Secret, which talks about law of attraction. They say if you think and say it and like try to meet it halfway with like the work, the little that you can do, it shall come to pass. But I'm gonna take you into details of this man. When he was growing up, he was a very lost and lazy child. You know,
I was lazy and fearful that I wasn't good enough. I used to come home and lay on the carpet because I couldn't fucking afford furniture and think, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Today we see the Tom that is an entrepreneur. Before he was not like that. He affirms that he is not a born entrepreneur. So he acknowledged that some other people might be born entrepreneurs, but he's not part of those, you know. He's even making an example that there was a moment where he had, I don't know if he was selling papers or what. So he was not good at that. He ended up giving those papers away for free. I don't know if it was pamphlet or what. So that shows that as a child, Tom had no skills on the entrepreneurship. So that's him. He was lazy. He was miserable as a child. You know, he is not an extraordinary person if we trace back on his life.
I tried to believe I was special, and either luck of the draw or the fact that I really am average, I would always run into somebody better than me. I was sliding rapidly towards depression. The breakthrough for me was to accept that I was hopelessly average and that was still going to allow me to be successful.
Habits that I see from him right now. Tom, he likes reading a lot, more especially audiobooks. He's into audiobooks. You know, he's always on his earphones or headset. I remember this other time telling the story that even his wife, like they were fighting, that he's always on his earphones. Like he always does the studying these people and reading. And one of the amazing things about Tom is that he is very good on self-studying. Like, this guy knows neuroscience as if he was enrolled in the institution. So that's how amazing he is in terms of this. But he continued to say he's not extraordinary. He just believes in putting in the work. What are some of the superpowers that I discover around this guy? He's having a growth mindset. That's what I can promise you. Tom is having a growth mindset. This man is the man that can endure, can be resilient on suffering. So there's one of his quotes that he say, if you don't want it as if you want your energy to breathe or the air to breathe, then you don't want it enough. So one of his superpowers is growth mindset. It's working for him, and he's such a transformative person. He can take something from nowhere and put it into something. But of course, he acknowledged that he put in the work, and he is so resilient. He say if he wants that which he wants, even if it kicks him in the face, or the process of getting that particular thing, it means kicking him in the face or in the mouth, he's gonna continue to get that particular thing. So one of his favorite movies is The Matrix. Of course, he regarded himself at some point as Neo. He's saying The Matrix is a true metaphor, of life according to him. So he regarded himself as Neo because at some point he didn't believe in himself, and he therefore realized afterwards that only the belief matters in achieving things and in becoming that which you want to be. Now, I don't know if you know about The Matrix, but The Matrix is one of those life-changing movies. When you watch that movie, as in whether you're an average person or you are not average, it gives you a sense that you can become anything that you want. It's a very inspirational movie. Of course, if you follow the content and everything they're trying to deliver and portray, in the movie, just to give the summary of who was Neo. In the movie, Neo is this ordinary person that didn't believe in himself, but he found someone which was Morpheus who kept on saying he's the one, he's the one, he's the one. And at some point, everyone thought Morpheus was just crazy and he was obsessed with Neo. And until Neo started believing in himself, and by the time he believed in himself, he made drastic changes. Like, he was one of the powerful, I don't know what to say, but he was one of the powerful people that made it out of the Matrix. He used Kung Fu to fight, and Tom is saying his Kung Fu is business. At some point, someone will have to discover their own Kung Fu. Now, I'm about to introduce a very important person in Tom's life. Not his mother, not his father, but his wife, Lisa BILYEU. Now, this is one of the powerful relationships I've ever seen on earth. I had a chance to listen to Lisa BILYEU, some of the things that she would say. These two think exactly the same. How surprising is that? And at some point, I even feel like Lisa BILYEU is like, it's not about the matter of smartness or anything, but I feel like the delivery from Lisa BILYEU is so outstanding. Lisa BILYEU is not only Tom's wife. I mean, they are business partners, So after they jumped into Inside Quest, which was a branch from Quest Nutrition, which ran up for about a year and 6 months, and then from there they started their own company, which is Impact Theory. On the establishment of that company, they became partners. Now, there was a time where they were making divorce papers, like they were planning how their divorce is going to look like, should they have one. And by the way, I'm going to come back to this concept of divorce in their relationship, right? So Tom says now they're going to take 50-50. And the lawyer suggested that Tom take 51 and Lisa take 49. And guess what? Tom was like, no way. I want Lisa to have 50 so that I can have 50. So he's saying the reason for this was to send the absolute sense of trust, that he really trusts Lisa. But that's not the only highlight of their lives. Tom is saying from Lisa, he found more than a partner. So there were moments where Tom was so miserable. His only job was to make sandwich for Lisa when Lisa was knocking off from work. But during those times, Lisa did not show sympathy and empathy only, but she would suggest that Tom dust himself off and then show him the goals. One of Lisa's, I don't know if I should call this principle or motto, is behind every successful man, there's a powerful woman. And Lisa always tried by all means to play that powerful woman on Tom's. Like, if Tom was on his knees, Lisa's responsibility wouldn't only to console Tom, but it would to get him up and show him the prize that this is where we're going, this is where we're supposed to go. And Tom says, not that Lisa owned his success, but Lisa had a very powerful contribution and major contribution in his success. There was a time where Tom approached Lisa's father and was like, I want to marry your daughter. His father was like, what are you like? How are you gonna take care of my daughter if you are in these circumstances? And Tom was like, man, I am the most ambitious person that you've ever come across. And like, from there you take it that Tom had a lot to prove, and it had Lisa on it, because this was Tom telling Lisa that I'm gonna make us rich. I'm gonna make you rich. I'm gonna make you rich. And Tom has been working so hard to prove to that point. Now this person is so rich, right? So that's the type of relationship that they have. And then Lisa, of course, brought a massive change in Tom's life. But there's these two guys that got into Tom's life, which were entrepreneurs. And remember, Tom was just a filmmaker, and Tom and Lisa, actually, just before I sum up that idea, they met at the film school where Tom was teaching. So Lisa was Tom's student. How amazing is that? And okay, I said I'm gonna come to the concept of divorce. So in their marriage, there are words that they have banned, like they don't exist in their dictionary. In BILYEU's dictionary, a word like divorce doesn't exist. That's what I wanted to allude, actually. So yeah, and then afterwards, Tom meet these two gents, which looked like his dream. And these guys introduced Tom into business. They started a business like a technology company. At some point, Tom was miserable, although they were making money, but Tom felt like he was emotionally bankrupt. And from there, he approached these guys. Was like, look, I'm miserable. You can keep your equity, which I think he had 10% at that moment. You can keep your equity, but I'm done with this thing. I am so emotionally exhausted. So one of his sentiments is that money cannot buy you happiness, because he has seen it, he has experienced it.
And then I realized, almost 8.5 years in, here we are. We've just been named the 42nd fastest growing technology company in North America. We're making money, we're winning awards. Beautiful conference room overlooking the Pacific Ocean, and I turn to my partners and I say, I'm completely miserable, I quit.
And now these guys were like, all right, look, we can do this without you, but we don't want to do it. So they asked Tom, what do you suggest that we do? And Tom was like, let's do something that gives us fulfillment, that we're happy to wake up in the morning and go to do it. And they came with the idea of Quest Nutrition. They were trying to solve the problem of metabolic diseases, of course, because Tom was coming from a chubby family, so he was afraid that he might lose his mom and his sister. So they come into conclusion of making these bars, which gonna be very much convenient for people, right? So they end up doing that. The company grew very fast, and I don't remember this, but I think there's something like this along the line, that they hired the guys that they didn't have a good background record. I think most of them were coming from prison. Like these guys, they were the ones that were working at the factory, right? So their company grew, and it was $1 billion company, and at some point they sold it. They sold it with these guys, and they had fights. So this is Tom speaking on. So this is Tom speaking on partnerships, right? That it is great to have partners, because with partners you are always corrected on your ideas and you are always challenged. And when you are a sole entrepreneur, sometimes you get that you have all the approval and no one challenges you, and it's easy for you to get out of business if you're by yourself, because you're making a lot of mistakes, and some of them you don't see them coming and they hit you up. And that's why he believes that the concept of it's lonely at the top, it comes from such experiences. And yeah, this man is a very incredible man. I've enjoyed studying him. He's so inspirational. His sense and his punchline of life is, as human being, we can always change. We can always change wherever we are, with whatever that we have. We can always change. He's saying that as human beings, we are very, very capable to adapt in any situation of life. So the change is mindset away, and he suggests that people should have a growth mindset. It's been nice talking about this man, and there's a lot, of course, that we can talk about. So let me talk about the people that Tom have access to. He has access to people like Lewis, which recently dropped a book of the School of Greatness Mindset, I think that's the title. And he's having access to people like Dalio. I think he wrote the book Principles, and he's having access to people like who's this guy with a very nice voice, rough voice, Tony Robbins. I think it's Tony Robbins. He's having access to such people, and to many people, and I've seen him with many people, and I can name them, but the saying of surround yourself with the great and you shall become great. He's part of that, So if you want to check him out, check his podcast. His Impact Theory is very impactful, because they, breaking things to a simplest form that an average individual can understand. And yeah, it's been nice studying this man. And until we see you again, it was very nice making this breakdown. And goodbye from the greats.
I can sum up personal responsibility in a single quote by Kobe Bryant. Booze don't block dunks. The most insidious thing about excuses, you have a valid reason to feel like a victim. But the question is that going to serve you moving forward?